This week it's a very well-known ukulele brand, but not a style of theirs I've ever seen before. Keep watching. Yeah, welcome back. It's GotAUkulele review day. As ever, a summary video review. If you look at the link below each video, go to the main website, you'll get a lot more information and loads of other stuff on that site as well. As I always say, also each week, I don't get paid by brands or stores for doing these. They would be adverts, they wouldn't be impartial, so the site can only go forward by relying on the very kind donations of some of the people who've donated in the last week there, saying thank you to them, because that's what keeps this site going. My eternal thanks to those people who do that. And also, you can help me out by subscribing to the YouTube channel. You know what to do. There's a button down there. That would be helpful too. Okay, before we get into it, just a quick thank you for Mike at Uke Republic in Georgia in the USA, who sent this t-shirt over. I regularly say on GotAUkulele that I recommend that if you're buying a ukulele, to go to a specialist ukulele store, and that is to say not just a common high street music store that happens to put a ukulele on the wall because they think they're cool. I mean real specialist uke stores whose focus is the ukulele. I have a list on my website of stores I recommend. Uke Republic have always been on that list because they are one of those stores, so I am proud to wear the t-shirt. Thank you, Mike. Okay, this one. Always caught my eye, these instruments, for quite some time now. The brand is called RISA. I've owned RISA ukuleles. I've reviewed RISA ukuleles. I know the UK distributor for RISA ukuleles, Stones Music, very well. But they've always been electrics. But I knew that they made acoustics. And this is the RISA Koa Soprano acoustic instrument. For some reason, I don't know why, Stones Music don't carry the RISA acoustic instruments, and these seem to be the preserved solely of Europe. I think you can get them in the USA, but you rarely see these in the UK. I imported this so I could bring this review to you. The RISA Koa Soprano, and this is all solid Hawaiian koa. And attractive wood it is. It's not the most flamed or stripy, but it's not unattractive. It's a nice dark grain. Interesting for a soprano, 2 pieces on the top, 2 pieces on the sides, 2 pieces on the back, rather than just a single sheet. So it's nicely book matched too, as you can probably tell. Yeah, nicely done. Interesting, very interesting. Very nicely put together as well. Chamfered off edges on the top and the back, so none of it feels very sharp. It feels very luthier built. I don't know who's made this for them, and I don't know where it's been made, because their electrics are made in Europe. I don't know whether this is made in Asia or made in Europe. Answers on a postcard. But you know, nice, all solid Hawaiian koa. The bridge wood isn't specified. I think it's dark enough to be ebony. Slot style, Martin style, very, very nice finish, very tidy, fitted with a compensated top bone saddle, which is sitting very high, but we'll come on to whether that will affect the action or not there. Decoration, they've let the wood do the talking, with the exception of my bugbear, laser etching. I really don't like laser etching, and I don't know if I can show you this, but one of the downsides to it, other than the fact I think it looks cheap, is the fact there's bits of polish left inside in the little rough base of the grain. Really irritating. I don't like laser etching. It looks lazy, it looks cheap. Inside, very tidy, very thin braces, notched linings, no mess. Very good. And the top doesn't look too thick either. Okay, interesting. The neck, single piece neck. They don't specify the wood. I suspect it's mahogany, but there's no joints in it. Tapers down to a fairly squashed profile up here, and a slightly wider than average nut width of 35, 28 from G to A. That's nice. The fingerboard wood isn't specified. Again, I suspect it's ebony, but I don't know whether this light will show this, but it's a bit scruffy finished. It really does need a polish or a rub back with some wire wool. What's really interesting about it is there's a radius on it. Now, you don't see a lot of radiuses on ukuleles. I don't think I've ever seen a radius on a soprano. So it's got a 25.5 inch radius, very slight radius, but a radius all the same, which may account for the fact it's a hefty chunk of wood on the top, thick old fingerboard. And I hope that doesn't affect the resonance of the instrument, but I suspect it's the radius is meaning that's why that needs to be that thick. Frets, 17 of those joined at the 12th, no sharp edges, it's edge bound in a black finish down the sides. Position dots, pearly, face out at 3, 5, 7, 10, double 12, one at the 15th. There's also dots on the side. The headstock, Martin-esque crown, more laser etching. It just looks cheap, doesn't it? But other than that, I can't really complain about it. That's faced in more colour. The tuners are made by De Young. Small little wooden buttons, sealed chrome gears. Good quality tuners. But I hate side ears on a Soprano. These should be rear facing. I think it just really spoils the look, I'm afraid. But there we are. They are good quality tuners, I'll give them that. A set of Ukulele strings is all you get with it, and it comes in a European price on the Ukesurfer site in Germany, which is the RISA shop site, of €499. But if you shop around, you'll find a UK equivalent quite a bit cheaper than that. So it's kind of in Martin S1 territory. It's cheaper than some of the Kawaias. But remember, the Martin S1 is not made of solid koa. This is made of solid koa. That's made of mahogany. So it's a serious priced Soprano. But it's not the most expensive Soprano I've ever looked at. And I must say, aside from the laser etching and a bit of scruffiness on that fingerboard and the ears for tuners, it's nicely put together and it's an attractive little thing. The radius on the fingerboards really intrigued me. High-end appointments here, high-end appointments. It feels very solidly put together. It feels heavy, but actually the weight is not 475, so it's probably a bit heavier than some, but it feels like a solid, substantial thing. And I hope that's not going to be affecting the tone either. But let's have a play of it. This can be a little bit awkward because I've had a new tattoo on the inside of my strumming arm there this week, so exactly where I don't want to be rubbing it, and it's covered in cocoa butter and stuff like that, so this could be awkward, but let's have a play. I'll do my best. Now, what I always say about Sopranos, I want them to have a punchy bark. They've got to have presence, and I can forgive them on poor sustain because it's a rhythmical instrument, so you want a staccato sound. But let's have a play. Volume. Really good. Really good punch. It's brighter than I'd expect and indeed want from a soprano, but that's like why I like mahogany sopranos, but that'll be the koa doing that. That's a very punchy sound. And the sustain is really very good too. Yeah, okay. It sounds like a barky, peppy, punchy soprano. That's how I want a soprano to sound. That's very good. That's very good. What I will say is, I wonder whether the Aquila strings are overdriving it a little bit, because I'm getting overtone sounds in some of that strumming. Almost a bit of an echo of itself. Aquila strings are very, very powerful, and I find they can do that with some instruments. Let's have a pick. Oh dear. I'm getting that echo again. I'm blaming the strings for that. Intonation's not good at the neck, is it? Yeah, kind of odd that, like an overdriven sound to it, but it's clearly a nice tone in there that is good. The volume's great, sustain's great. I think the strings are probably not doing it justice. Maybe putting some Martin fluorocarbons on there would just sweeten it up and just sort of dial it back a little bit. That's an interesting one. They also make these in other woods, mahogany and mango. They also make these in other scales. I don't know why we don't get RISA acoustics in the UK. Because it's a very good instrument. It's got a very good score. It's a nice instrument, nice woods. Some little foibles to it. Oh, the laser etching. Tidy up the fingerboard. Not sure about the tuners. And I don't think the strings are right. But it's a nice little uke, isn't it? And it's incredibly well made. And if you ignore the laser etching, I think it's a very attractive little instrument. The RISA, all solid Hawaiian Koa Soprano acoustic, not an electric, from them. That's been enjoyable to look at. Sorry about the shonky playing. As I say, really don't want to be rubbing that tattoo off on the lower bout of this instrument, which is now covered in cocoa butter. Probably good for the finish. Yeah, I've enjoyed looking at that one. I hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks for your ongoing support and thanks for watching. Have a very good week ahead. Look after each other. I'll be back next weekend. Don't know what's coming, but we'll have some fun. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.